It's an interesting morning here in the Marin Headlands. You can see the fog creeping in over there in the city. And it's kind of like the fog that seemed to have settled upon our nation. You're not quite sure sometimes whether the fog is creeping in or creeping out. You know when you're in the fog, and you know when the fog has cleared and it's bright and sunny out. But there's kind of that in-between zone where you're not sure whether it's coming or going. It's kind of like that with many of the problems we face in the world. We know when we're looking at the problem because we can see the shadows. But sometimes it's difficult to know when we're looking at the light because the light kind of blinds us. I had the good fortune early in my career to have met a mentor, a man by the name of Jim Rouse. And Jim was a visionary. And the first meeting I had with him, he gave me a copy of a sheet of paper that had something that was like gold to me. He entitled it just simply Way of Thinking. And in it, he explained his way of viewing the world. He pointed out that there are problems all around us. In fact, at that first meeting, I was sitting in at his office. I observed 5 or 6 people around a board table, all describing huge problems that faced the Enterprise Foundation, a nonprofit that he had started to provide affordable housing for everybody in the United States. Huge problem, huge challenge. And as they went around the table, everybody put forth a dark view of just how big this challenge was. Jim seemed undaunted by it all, and I remember him saying, all right, so we've got these problems. We need to start tackling them one by one. When you start, this is what Jim said, when you start tackling the problems, you're in motion. You know, Einstein said, living your life is like riding a bicycle. You've got to keep moving forward or you're going to fall off. And that's sort of what Jim was saying. We need to tackle these problems one by one. We need to analyze them. And once you start solving problems, even if they're very small problems that you're solving, it creates a different mindset. So that rather than focusing upon problems, you're focusing on the light. And that changes the way you view the other problems, because you know if you can solve one problem, you can solve another problem. So, step number 1 is you recognize the problem, the shadow. And then step number 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on is walking in the light. In the light of a faith that these problems, like virtually every other problem that has been faced by every generation throughout history, has both a solution and a resolution. So this is our challenge today, to first recognize that problem, and then to put ourselves in motion on the path towards a solution, and keep on that path step by step until the shadow has disappeared and the light is before us.